Welcome to Inside the Autistic Mind. I'm glad you're here. Last Tuesday, I was sitting in a boardroom on the 22nd floor of a building in Canary Wharf. My boss was talking about blue sky thinking and drilling down into the granular details. While everyone else was nodding solemnly, I was vibrating. Not because I was anxious, though let's be real, I usually am, but because I was trying not to laugh. In my head, I was literally seeing a giant drill trying to find a single grain of sand in a massive sky. The image was ridiculous. This is the reality of my autistic brain in the London workplace. It's a 40-hour week of literal interpretations and pattern matching that makes the corporate world look like a very expensive piece of performance art. Today, I want to talk about our humor. Not the kind of jokes people expect, but the weird, internal, absurdist comedy that helps me survive the city without losing my mind.
People often think autistic folks don't get humor. It's one of those myths that really gets under my skin. We get it. We just see the punchline before the setup even finishes, because our brains are obsessed with patterns. Or we find the setup itself hilarious, because it makes no sense. For me, working in a UK office is a comedy of errors. Take the British politeness filter. When a colleague says, "That's a very brave suggestion," they usually mean, "That's the worst idea I've ever heard." When I first started working in London, I'd thank them for noticing my courage. I wasn't being cheeky, I was being literal. Now I find that gap between what is said and what is meant to be objectively funny. It's like everyone is participating in a secret play, and I'm the only one who didn't get the script, so I'm just ad-libbing based on the literal dictionary definitions of words.
London is a loud, sensory nightmare disguised as a global hub. To manage 40 hours a week here, I've had to turn the commute into a sitcom. Think about the tube. You've got hundreds of people packed into a metal tube, avoiding eye contact at all costs, while a voice tells you to mind the gap. The gap between what? My sanity and this platform? The absurdity of it helps me cope. If I don't laugh at the fact that we're all pretending it's normal to have a stranger's briefcase digging into our ribs, I'll probably melt down. I started keeping a logic log on my phone. Just a list of things people do in the city that make zero sense. Like how people will run for a train that's coming again in 2 minutes. Why are you sprinting? The pattern says another one is right behind it. Watching the panic of others when the logic doesn't justify it, that's where my humor lives. Let's talk about sarcasm. In the UK, it's basically the national currency. For an autistic person, sarcasm is like a complex math equation you have to solve in real time while trying to keep your facial expression neutral. I used to find it exhausting. I'd spend hours after work wondering if someone was actually happy for me or if they were being dry. But then I realized I can use my own version of it. My humor is deeply observational. I'll point out a literal truth that everyone else is ignoring, and for some reason, that makes neurotypical people laugh. They think I'm being witty and edgy, and actually just being honest. It's a weird form of masking where my flaws, like not knowing when to stop being literal, become my personality. It's a survival strategy. If I can make the team laugh by pointing out the ridiculousness of a 4 p.m. Friday meeting, I'm not the weird one anymore, I'm the funny one.
My productivity is tied to my humor because both come from pattern recognition. I see the glitches in the system. I see that we're using 3 different software platforms to do the same task, and I find it hilarious in a we're all doomed kind of way. Instead of getting angry and hitting a burnout wall, I try to frame it as a puzzle. I'll go to my manager, who is actually quite supportive, and say, "I've noticed a recurring comedic bit in our workflow where we lose 4 hours a week to this specific button." Framing it through humor makes me more approachable. It bridges that gap. It's hard to be the difficult employee when you're the one providing the light relief about the office printer's existential crisis. It's about taking that intense, autistic focus and aiming it at the funny stuff instead of just the stressors. I have to be honest with you though. Being the funny autistic person at work is a double-edged sword. Sometimes I'm so busy looking for the laugh to keep myself regulated that I forget I'm actually tired. It's a form of high-level masking. You're performing relatability through jokes. There are days when I get home to my flat and I can't speak. The humor battery is dead. I've spent all day translating my literal thoughts into socially acceptable puns just to fit in. If you're doing this too, using your wit as a shield, I want you to know it's okay to be serious. You don't always have to be the one who makes the office logic make sense through a joke. Your experience is valid even when it's not funny. Sometimes the 40-hour week just sucks, and no amount of absurdist observation is going to fix the fact that the lights are too bright and the coffee tastes like burnt rubber.
The best part of my career so far hasn't been the promotions or the London weight allowance. It's been finding the other neurodivergent people who get the joke. You know that look? You say something completely literal or a bit weird, and instead of that blank, confused stare from a neurotypical boss, someone across the room just smirks. They see the drill in the sky, too. Finding that community, whether it's a Slack channel or a specific group in the city, is what makes the 40 hours sustainable. We trade our logic logs. We laugh at the things that would make other people cry. If you're struggling in a corporate environment, try to find your people. Look for the ones who don't quite fit the professional mold, the ones who appreciate a good, well-timed, pedantic observation. It makes the glass buildings feel a lot less cold. Managing a career in a place like London while being autistic is a massive achievement. If you use humor to get through it, that's not a weakness, it's a superpower of perspective. You see the world in a way that is inherently more interesting and often much funnier than the standard corporate view. Remember, your experience is valid. Whether you're laughing at the synergy or just trying to survive the commute, you're doing great. Don't let the world tell you that your literal mind is a problem. It's often the only thing in the room that actually makes sense. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one.